Good afternoon and happy January transfer window eve to those that celebrate. It's 1:30, I'm Ed Groves and these are your Solent Sports News headlines. The Champions League draw has now been completed and on screen is the full draw. One of the most notable draws include Newcastle Karabag. The Azerbaijani side have reached the knockout phase for the first time in their history, despite losing 6-0 to Liverpool the other night. Another one to watch is Real Madrid playing Benfica again. Their last fixture ended with a shock finish after Benfica's goalkeeper scored a last-minute header to secure qualification. Breaking news, Everton manager David Moyes has announced that Jack Grealish is likely to need surgery. Grealish suffered a stress fracture on his foot, and if surgery is required, then the winger will miss the remainder of the season. This is a huge blow, not only for his Premier League campaign, but also for his 2026 World Cup hopes. Southampton are live on Sky Sports tomorrow at 12:30 as they travel to North Staffordshire to face Stoke City in the EFL Championship. The Saints come into the game on the back of a 1-1 draw against South Coast rivals Portsmouth. Goal scorer Leo Cienza was forced off in the second half of Derby Day, but Eckert shared that the team are in a good place fitness-wise at the moment.
I think outstanding for the amount of games that we are playing. So I think everyone in here is doing an excellent job on that, and then if we are progressing with the same availability, I think that allows us to have a smaller squad size. Yeah.
Arsenal's wonder kid teenager has signed his first pre-contract agreement with the club. Mikel Arteta has hailed 15-year-old Max Dowman as one of the best players he has ever seen at that age. The Spaniard even compared the youngster to Lionel Messi.
Well, certainly one of the best. I mean, what he's done with us at the age of 15, me personally, I haven't seen it before. Only with a guy that used to play in Barcelona, but maybe not even that. But yeah, he certainly has, not only that, he has a certain charisma as well and personality that he doesn't get overwhelmed, whether it's by the situation or the stadium or the opposition.
An Olympic sprinter has been arrested for dangerous speeding. Sha'Carri Richardson, American gold medalist, has been charged after driving at excessive speeds of 100 miles per hour or more, according to jail reports. In her professional career, she has recorded top speeds of around 25 miles per hour, if only she kept these high speeds on the track. Richardson is no stranger to the law after she missed the Tokyo Olympics in 2020 after testing positive for marijuana. After beating Alexander Zverev in the longest Australian Open semi-finals of all time, the finals now awaits for world number 1 Carlos Alcaraz. The Spaniard will either face Novak Djokovic or Jannik Sinner, who are currently playing as we speak. The current score is 2-1 in sets in Sinner's favour. Defending title holder Alfie Hewitt has been eliminated from the Australian Open in the wheelchair tennis. The Englishman lost 6-4 and then 6-4 again to Spaniard Martin de la Puente, who will advance to the final. Hewitt can hold his head higher though, as he has 30 Grand Slam titles under his belt. Now, for the age-old question, is darts a real sport? Our darts correspondent Lloyd Stevens answers that for us, and here's a preview of what's to come later on.
I feel like it's still got the technique, the skill, the concentration of any other sport. I know there's not much physical activity involved. Obviously, you're just throwing, not really moving, just staying around. This is actually one of the sports really where you can actually have a beer whilst playing it. So I get why people say it, but I still feel like it's a sport because it still has all of the key elements of what a sport actually is.
The Winmore Darts Masters are underway and the tournament has already produced a great upset. Three-time world champion Michael van Gerwen has been knocked out on the opening day by Diamond Hater. Luke Littler and Luke Humphreys enter the tournament later tonight. Humphreys will aim to defend his title as he faces Dave Chisnell this evening. The new era of toe wrestling is officially here as TWF Sports held their first event. Here's a preview of our reporter Chloe Boyne's trip to Ashbourne for the Amateur Open.
Forget darts, forget pool. Toe wrestling is in town, quite literally in Ashbourne, Derbyshire. Also famous for Royal Shrovetide football, Ashbourne is the birthplace of toe wrestling. and home to the Coach and Horses pub, which most recently held the Ashbourne Amateur Open. But what even is the sport?
Playing pool down the pub with your mates can be enjoyable until you get too good. Here's a preview on what's to come later on. I'm getting a bit bored of playing with my friends now, and I've always wondered what sport I could go pro in, and pool's something that I've always really enjoyed. But how good would I be against the best player in Southampton?
To give you an idea, the Southampton local pool league runs a league in the winter and in the summer, and you have a singles entry on top of that as well. And in the last 3 years I've been in all 6 finals. I've won 5, lost 1. I just like to say, let the table do the speaking, and then let people come in with the comments on Facebook and just leave it at that. I don't even reply.
That guy looked familiar, but I don't reckon he has the hype for our next sport. In basketball, an NBA record has been broken early this morning as Cooper Flagg becomes the highest scoring teenager in the league's history. The Dallas Mavericks rookie scored 49 points against the Charlotte Hornets, despite losing 123 to 121. The previous record was held by Cliff Robinson, who scored 45 points in the 1980 season. Anthony Joshua has paid an emotional tribute to his 2 friends who died in a car accident in Nigeria. Joshua was in the vehicle with Sina Gami and Lateef Oyedele when the pair sadly lost their lives in the collision. The former heavyweight world champion sustained minor injuries himself and was discharged from hospital 2 days after the tragic accident.
People before, but I don't think I've lost people like that, my left and my right, you know. But the mission must go on. I understand my duty. I understand what they wanted to do for their families. So what my goal is to continue to help them achieve their goals.
Sport is a major player for students at university. At 3:30, Piran discovers what a Wednesday would look like for a typical sports student.
Ever turned up to a midweek lecture and no one's there? That's because all the students are at a Bucks Wednesday.
Yeah! There we go. There we go.
A UFC fight has been cancelled after a mishap at the pre-fight weigh-ins. Aaron Tao had stepped on the scale behind a curtain and was 3 pounds underweight, which shocked the commentators as they thought he must have used a trick to reach this weight. Tao was then asked to weigh himself without the curtain and was over the limit, meaning the fight had to be called off. With the Six Nations lurking around the corner, our rugby correspondent spoke to Solent starting fly half about the pressures to perform. And if you want a sneak peek, then here you are.
So I go point the tee at the posts, ball on the tee with the valve on top. The valve controls the balance of the ball. It's not going to be perfect, but valve on top so it's down the middle. And then control your breathing down, and when you're ready.
And that's all for us for this hour. Join us at 3:30 for more sporting headlines. You can stay up to date on our website, solentsportsnews.com, for regular updates. See you guys later on.